Hey Mr. G Spree, Gavin here with Spree Scriber. What do you think about the few deck building roguelikes we've seen? Great question. As you may know, I have talked about Shroom and Gloom already, which is by Devolver Digital. But we're actually holding another shorter panel next week to talk about some specifically deck building roguelikes. So if you're looking for that, that'll come next week. We're here to talk about other roguelikes and kind of anything else that we're interested in this week. Yeah, so that was a lie. What is up, G-Spree gang? I originally thought I had more deck builders lined up, but I got two, and honestly, they're pretty solid. But really quick, first off, I wanted to talk about Battlesuit Aces. It's kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game play style, except it isn't at all. I just kind of wanted to compare something. This game is incredibly story-rich. It starts off with you and a pal going out for lunch in your little spaceship in this little world that you're in, or universe that you're in, and it gets hit by a rocket, crash lands, and you gotta figure out what's going on here. Along the way, you find an abandoned mech suit, which, lucky for you, you've got a pilot who knows how to pilot that mech suit. And by knowing how to pilot it, he means I'm gonna get into this and then it's gonna start working and we're gonna see what to do from there. There's a lot of story to unpack here, but every single character is fully voice acted from the demo. And for once, I actually was compelled to listen to what they had to say and actually learn what's going on in this universe. But ultimately, you have your ship, your crew, you are the captain, you command kind of where everything's going, what we're doing, and you can talk to your folks to get your rapport up with them and have little like side story things going on with each character. But then the gameplay, you might be wondering, how is this like Yu-Gi-Oh? Well, you have your pilots, you put your pilots out on the field when you draw them, and then their ability or their attack costs X amount to cast or attack. And in order to get these little gems, they generate them for you. So you do have to kind of figure out who do I want on the field, how do I want them on the field, and how often do I want to attack with them. Also, there's different colors, there's blue and red, they generate their own little energy, so that's another thing to manage. But the demo is good. I highly recommend the demo, especially if you're into something more story rich. Okay, the next one, the big thing, the reason I'm here, the reason I want to talk to you about roguelike card games is Into the Grid. Now, the last time I felt truly impacted after completing a run in a roguelike was Slay the Spire. The pacing is really good. The self-ramping feels a little slow, but honestly, it kind of fits the whole game, so I can deal with it. It's even more of a challenge this way. My only real gripe is that the enemies seem to ramp a little bit faster than you do, which it could be me, it could be my fault. I might be just playing the game not as optimally as I could, but it starts to feel like a real challenge when you are on alert level 3, facing what you could easily beat on alert level 1, and now you're really like struggling within an inch of your life. Maybe I'm a little dramatic, but this is about as open world as you can get in a game like this, whereas there is no clear direction. You just get from your beginning spot to the boss battle. By navigating these rooms, interacting with terminals, completing nodes, beating enemy combat, you can choose to fight, you can choose not to fight, you can choose to kind of sneak around more and be more reserved in your out of combat experience. But you could also go full in, interact with every single terminal on the highest threat level, defeat every single enemy imaginable, and meticulously open every single gate before you even get to the final boss. It almost feels a little bit like the original Pokemon TCG for Game Boy Color, except it didn't at all. Hear me out. Running around, challenging different enemies, coming to different rooms, interacting with the terminals, building your deck up, discovering new drivers, which is like this game's passive buffs. The more I talk about it, the more I lose the string in my brain that I had tying these two games together. But let me draw this parallel for you in bullet points, right? Walking around, facing enemies with your deck, building up your deck. How'd I do? You like it? I mean, you can choose who you want to fight, but you just don't know who they are until you actually start the combat, and they don't have any like typing advantage or disadvantage. And there's maybe only like 5 enemies at this point, which I'm guessing we'll see more upon full release or updated versions. But it's like a little bit of a surprise every time you go into a combat. I mean, I know this is a good surprise for some of you, but what about the actual combat? The cards feel good and you can take your sense of direction wherever you like. You can be more offensive, more defensive, more technical. There's 4 classes of cards: attacks, defense, protocol, and generation. Generation cards can help you get more passive buffs as well as generate extra vim, which is how you play these cool little commands that are down here. I always like to point on something. We'll see how in post-processing this works. But these are your commands. You can choose between, your level 1 command, level 2 command, level 3 command. They each cost different vims. Max vim is 20. There's also some cards which give bonuses if you have X amount of vim. So you kind of want to balance out. Maybe I have a deck that's more focused on generating to max vim, playing that max command, and then going all the way back down. Or maybe I just sit at max vim. Maybe I sit around 10 vim. Maybe I only want to use the first one to generate grit or feral, which is, offensive or defensive passives. Passive buffs, I should probably specify. And feral is for extra attack, grit is for extra defense. And you can also swap out these commands. I think there's 4 different commands that you can choose from for each tier. You can do these at a terminal, which is a shop where you can buy extra cards, or drivers, which is your passive buffs, like I said. But the stock commands are honestly pretty good. It's just based off of card draw. And then there's protocol cards. We can skip over the attack, defense, defense, you know what that means. But protocol cards will grant you these passive buffs in combat, just like Slay the Spire's power cards. You name a wish for a protocol card, this game's got it. If you want more Vim generation, boom, done. If you want more attack power, boom, done. You want more defense power, boom, done. If you want to get a specific amount of damage dealt whenever you play a command, if you're going for a high amount of Vim generation, boom, done. A protocol card that grants you 18 damage every time you cast a command. Okay, now that you've kind of discovered what the heck this game is, how it works, coupled with the gameplay going on behind me so you can kind of get a feel for it, let's loop back to what I was talking about at the beginning where I said I almost get exhausted after completing a run, which is good. It's a good thing in this case, trust me. With Slay the Spire, challenging a harder and harder difficulty, it can get a little tiring. Maybe you'd beat one, you'd have a burst of energy, burst of motivation to go on and do the next, but then you get hyper beamed by the bronze automaton at the end of Act 2 and you're just like, what is life? Then you have to put down your Slay the Spire machine, wondering if it's even worth another try, then for you to come back an hour later and just play the rest of the day away. Anyway, this game feels like that. And it makes me feel good. It's a good, strong challenge, and I can try playing the game again with the knowledge I've learned. This is the purest form of roguelike where the only thing you get out of completing a run is just the knowledge. I'm sure this will change a little bit once the game gets fully released. I believe this is the first demo, though it looks like it's been around since about November last year. But this is a really good, solid demo of a roguelike card game, because you start with nothing every single run, no matter how many runs you've done, no matter how many times or lack thereof you've beaten the boss. You start the game the exact same every single time, and based on the cards that you get to pick from on new card terminals, and based on the cards that you find, the drivers that you find, you can adapt and choose the playstyle that you want to play. Go grit and just get like one boss card for an attack card, and then just block and barrier everything else. Maybe you want to change your playstyle and be a little bit more risky and go for a boss card that does possibly 300 damage if you have, what is it, like 18 or max? I think it's max Vim. I think max Vim on an upgraded boss card does like 300 damage to every single enemy on the screen, except it's only used once because then it gets decompiled. You can't use it for the rest of combat. But you know, that positive turmoil, that self-reflecting, but at the end of the day, you still lost a 40-minute run that you thought you had a good handle on. But I feel like I have a hard time putting into words when I say just how awesome this game is and how much this reignites my passion for deck building roguelikes, but I think I did a pretty good job. If you're like me and you're looking forward to updates, I got something for you. The demo is still available and the game is set to release sometime this quarter, which is, you know, soon-ish, right? So it could happen anytime now. I don't know. Maybe we'll get a shadow drop. So to help replayability, I would maybe like to see different starting hands, starting commands, maybe a different character, or maybe even one driver that you get to choose from that kind of helps you dictate where you want to take your run. Kind of like what the Exordium does in Slay the Spire. But you get the same basic set of cards every single run. You get the same exact starting like cube where you just get 2 money terminals and then I think a card draw, and you get no driver, which is a little bit interesting because Slay the Spire is that where you have 4 different characters. They each have their own starting relic, which does, you know, something unique to them along with their passive. But I think mainly I would love to feel more ramp throughout the run. I would like to feel like the game not really moves faster, but I feel like maybe I get bolstered up a little bit quicker, or maybe just a little bit of help during the journey. I don't know. But I do really like the threat activity level thing, system, whatever you want to call it, the difficulty level. Once you hit 10 threat up here, your activity level increases, and then with increased activity level, there's higher level enemies, and that's kind of it. And then you just have to be more aware of what you're interacting with, how you're interacting with it, and really have to figure out, okay, what's the route I want to take? How am I going to find this final boss? Because you really have no idea. There are things to help you, but you're kind of just in the dark, which I'm not at all complaining with. I actually really love this progression. So overall, I think I've played maybe 15 to 16 Steam Next Fest demos. Into the Grid is my absolute favorite. Batsu is a really close second, but I'm really looking forward to Into the Grid when this game comes out. So if you're interested in this, if you're interested in more, let me know. Maybe I'll do something special about it. We'll see. Or maybe I can do like an overstock video when the game officially comes out. I think that's going to do it for me. I hope you enjoyed me talking to the camera about a cool little game I found. That's mostly what we do here. I think we're going to dial it back and do League next week. I have done a lot of roguelike videos in the last weeks, and I've got a couple of League videos that are just starting to stockpile, so I gotta kick at least one of them out. Fun stuff happening over on the Overstock channel as usual. Maybe if I could decide who I want to hit with my shots.
You know, choosing a target kills the target, generally.
Right.
Well, I mean, it makes death more alive.
But there's so many good targets.
Exactly.
You could even aim for your neighbor's barn.
Oh, fucking please. Oh
What? Are you doing like a kid's board game ad right now?
What?
You could even aim for your neighbor's barn.
Come on down to Clucky's Fun Shack.
Don't let him out.
Do
Don't
not
let
go to
Clucky
Clucky's
out.
Fun-
Don't go to Clucky's Fun Shack.
Do not. It
Can I
is
get a
not
bumper
safe.
sticker made that says I got my ass ate at Clucky's Fun Shack?
Dude, oh my god. Okay.
I have so much backlog that I need to go get done for that. So I'm going to make sure I can get this done and we'll go work on that stuff. So I will have a wonderful rest of the week only if you do. And whatever, I'll do what I want. All right, we'll see you next time.